Hey everybody, Fat Vegan here. How y'all doing? Hey, so I just wanted to come in and say, yesterday I said I would talk about money, and I mean real money. So money has to be what does it go? How does it go? Breakdown is that it has to be divisible. Um, Gosh darn it! Now I gotta go read that book again. I can't recite all the different breakdowns. A currency is divisible, it's tradable, and it's there's a word for it, which means it holds the same value in my hand as it is in yours. Um, the difference with money and currency is currency does not hold its value. The U.S. dollar is a currency. The U.S. dollar has fallen since the day it came in. Was it When did Roosevelt take us off the gold standard? And is it 48 or something like that? Maybe something. Anyways, you can do your own research and get all the exact data. But what I'm saying is right. The currency has fallen, I think, over 100% since he took it off the gold standard, and when Nixon took it off completely, and it just tanked. Anyways, and we're about to print billions of dollars into existence to bail out companies that did not prepare for what was obviously coming. I mean, hell, I didn't prepare. Not properly. I know I didn't prepare properly. I don't have enough gold and silver to, I'll be lucky if I can feed my family for the next 5 years on what I have. And that's with massive, massive inflation. I'll still be lucky to be able to feed my family with what I have. It's important, especially right now. If you can get gold and silver, you need to get it. Um, I could be wrong. The markets could bounce. This inflation of fake money, currency, the U.S. dollar into our markets might might hold off the implosion. But I don't think it's going to. I mean, we've got multiple countries now that have their own markets that they trade in their own dollar, not in our dollar. In it's not the ruble, the Russian currency and the Chinese currency are both now tradable in the U.S. Not U.S. markets, in their own markets. And what I'm saying is that when you look at those markets, the price is not in the U.S. dollar. The price of oil is not in the U.S. dollar. The price of gold is not in the U.S. dollar. Where markets before I want to say 2004 is when they started opening these markets. It might have been a little bit earlier than that. Um, but right around there is when these markets started opening. And we've had nothing but volatility in the market since then in the U.S. Market. We've had what they call prosperity, which is just prices going up. Um, Oil did drop back. Again, I believe this is a devaluing of the U.S. currency since the U.S. currency is marked by oil. It's or valued by oil. Um, it, I mean, it used to be because it used to be the only way you could buy oil was in U.S. dollars, and now that's not the case. Um, and all I see now coming is an implosion, like quite literally. This is again worst case scenario. Do your own research. You, there's a lot of naysayers about what I'm saying. They're like, "Oh no, it'll be fine. We're just gonna pump more money in, pump more money in, pump more money in, pump more money in." Like, I mean, how does that thought process even work? It's like the housing market when they were selling for $180,000, or I'm sorry, not 100, $1.8 million. This is what they were selling for all over the Bay Area. In San Francisco was worse than that. But yet the average income in the Bay Area for, let's say, a 25-year-old, you're talking maybe they're hitting 60, maybe. If they're lucky, they're hitting 60 by that age. 60,000 a year. 60,000 a year does not buy you a $250,000 home. How are these houses being valued at 1.8 million? And then of course in 2008 everything corrected started to correct, and then big inflation, and we had the market was pumped full of money. The U.S. government bought up all those house notes that were defaulting, so the U.S. government is the largest holder of homes and property, which is not supposed to be the case, but there it is. I mean, when they originally wrote our Constitution of the United States, it said no one will print currency outside of gold and silver. Um, so how that works, I don't understand how they can cut out certain parts. I mean, I don't believe this was part of the amendments. So yeah, no, no. So so how they were able to legitimately cut this out, how people stood by. I mean, I understand it was a Great Depression, which was probably the best time to do it, which is probably what we'll see here. Is we'll either see a massive shift into a communist state, or what are they calling it now? Socialist. They're calling it socialist. It's communism, guys. When the government can come in, take your house, and kick you out and say bye, and you have no recourse whatsoever, that's called communism. And that's what happens in a socialist state. So I don't understand that thought process at all. Um, you can't put $400 in your dresser drawer and in 15 years expect to get the same amount for that $400. You already know. I know. My kids know that, not because of what I'm telling them, just because they've been. My oldest is 14 years old, and he's been around long enough to see the devaluation of the dollar. That that is sad. That is really sad. That he knows that you used to be able to buy a soda for 85 cents, and now it costs, whatever it is, $2.25 in some places maybe $1.85. But the point is there's inflation there for sugar water. Guys, go get gold and silver if you can get it. I mean, I know I'm not in the bracket that can really afford to get a lot of gold and silver. I have a small, little bit amount, hopefully enough to feed my family. For a whole year when everything implodes on itself. I recommend people have more than that, massive amounts more. I mean, you should carry at least 400 ounces of silver, and if you can afford it, 5 to 30 ounces of gold. With gold, I would recommend half ounces, but then there's a bigger commission that you're paying on that and all this other stuff. But again, I'm not the expert. Gold and silver is a store of value. The same amount of gold, outside of these huge swings, there's these huge swings in the market that have been happening in the last couple of decades, 4 or 5 decades, that have just been insane. And gold doesn't keep up with that because you're comparing it to something that doesn't keep value. Yet most of that timeline, all right, not 100%. There's gonna be times where you're gonna be like, oh look, see, he's wrong here. But that came back down and balanced out. So it does do some fluctuation, but over time, over 50, 60 years, that ounce of silver, that ounce of gold buys pretty close to the same amount of stuff. Okay, if an ounce of gold was all it took to buy. There was a time where a medium house price was the same as gold, but that was a long, long time ago. But we might see that again with the way everything's going. Again, that would require houses to be devalued, and then the gold prices go up, and they meet somewhere in the middle. So, but we really gotta consider our currency as fiat currency. That means by the power of the U.S. government, they demand we use this currency to pay taxes, so we're supposed to use it in all transactions. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I don't give a fuck what the law is. Look at me. DA, fuck you, DA. Seriously. You want to come get me? Put me in the fucking ground. But I'm done playing their games. I'll take their money, I'll spend it, I'll pay my house note, I'll pay anything for my car with it. I'll play the game until the game's done. And I honestly, that's why I'm on here saying it. I think the game's about to implode on them real soon. With this disease that's come out, the COVID-19, with they own most of the houses in this country. I mean, there's only so far you can go before everything just topples down on you. But like I said, I'll play the game until it implodes. But once it does, y'all, you need to realize barter is a safer tool of measurement at this point than giving or accepting, U.S. currency. Don't accept it. Stop accepting it. We cannot continue to do this horrible, horrible stuff. They are stealing from us. They are stealing from the average person. They're taking your money away. So if you're a saver, you're not saving shit. You're really not. If you don't have houses or gold and silver, and then the houses, that's about to fall. I think that's going to collapse again. I think my house might make it back to 160,000. That's over $100,000 a loss. It's more than 50%. I expect to see severe losses or a hyperinflation where it goes sky high. It's stupid. But if you took the US dollar anywhere else in the world, you wouldn't be able to buy shit. Nobody will take it. So what's the point of it happening that way? If I can't go anywhere else in the world and use it, then it doesn't matter. It's worthless. I don't get how people can accept it and then like work so hard for this money, and then they turn around and they realize they can't even pay their fucking rent. They work so hard for this money, you can't even pay your rent, let alone buy food. I think we're going to see very soon, y'all, where the average American spends more than 40% of their income on food alone. Your food stamps won't be worth anything. People will be starving in our own country. It'll be like a third world country. That's what I honestly believe. Y'all do what you have to do, But if you're a group of my friends and family group, please, if you can afford, a roll of dimes could save your life. That's 50 dimes. 50 times that you can, maybe buy a week's worth of food, possibly, if you wait long enough to use it. If you have a store of food, please also store food, guys. I just bought 100 pounds of rolled oats and almost 100 pounds of beans and a few other items that I needed. So, but I buy it in bulk. I buy large amounts all at once. Yeah, I mean, be prepared, guys. And don't consider the US dollar money. It's a fiat currency. It has no stored value, which is a requirement to call it money. Okay? Stop looking at the US dollar as if we're going to be able to continue down this path. They've changed currencies in Mexico a couple of times already. I'm sure a lot of us remember going to the Nuevo Peso. I believe before that there was another currency. I'm not 100%. Don't blame me. But hey, you want to really check this out? Go look up every single known fiat currency there is and see how many of them are still around or held value until just the whole government was torn down by another government, right? Like an invasion, or you won't find one. You won't find one, not one. And the US currency is a fiat currency. So eventually it goes to its value. 0. Good luck, y'all. It's Fat Vegan signing out. Y'all be blessed. Please be safe out there. This is going to be a bad time. I really believe it is. So I pray for everyone in my circle and everyone out there that sees this. I hope that you're able to prepare for what's really coming. Please be prepared. I love you all. Peace out.